What's going on, YouTube? I am back with another video. So, I mentioned in my Mikal Bridges video that I will be talking about my Chicago Bulls. Strap in, y'all. This is gonna be a long video. What can I say about this team, man? Man, I don't know where to start. So for those who have been living under a rock, we essentially kept the same team that we did last year, right? Look, man, I don't know where this team is going. Well, actually, no, I do know where it's going. It's not in the direction of winning an NBA championship. But I really don't know where this team is going, non-metaphorically, you know? Look, we've been keeping the same three guys that we've had for the past, 2-3 seasons. I think at this point, the Bulls front office and Bulls fans, including myself, we're just expecting and being so optimistic that this big three that we have is gonna work, right? This big three of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Vooch. We expect those three to somehow just figure this shit out, and just hope we get a deep playoff run, right? I just don't know, man. Just last season, DeMar and Zach were having beef on who should be the guy, and I do know that the team is a lot better with DeMar DeRozan on the floor, or at least being the lead, the number one option on certain games. But whenever it's Zach LaVine, we somehow get a more losing record than a win record, and I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this team, man. All right. Let's start off with Zach LaVine, right? The guy that's been there for the past, I would say, I want to say since the Jimmy Butler trade, right? I believe he's been there for about, 7 seasons now, right? Look, we've kept him for around that long, and I guess at this point we're expecting something to change. The guy's already in his prime, right? I think he's 27 years old still. He's still in his prime, averaging around 20-something points a game. I got to check his averages next time. But, we're expecting something different from Zach LaVine, right? We keep hearing him last season on how he wants to be the guy. He wants to stay in Chicago and bring this team a championship and be the leader of this team. At this point, it's like we're hearing you, but we're not seeing it. The old saying of actions speak louder than words. And so far, his actions aren't really speaking it, man. The game opener, he averaged around 51 points, which is good, but we lost. It's good averaging around 50-something points a game, but when it comes to a loss, that's fucking ass, man. Let me check his averages. Let me see. 51 points a game, 4 turnovers, which I don't see how you're happy about that. 4 total rebounds and a 102 to 118 loss to the Detroit Pistons. I don't know, man. And on top of that, we're like what? Aren't we like 2-3 or 3-2? Look, the season is still young, and we're just in the beginning of this season. But at some point, man, if you really want to be the leader of this team, sometimes, man, it just doesn't have to evolve around points, you know? I mean, Chris Paul, when he was on my Clippers, you know what I mean? He wasn't even considered the lead scorer at some points during the Lob City days, you know? He was still the leader regardless, you know? Whether it's vocally or just he is the number one option as far as like scoring and defense and when it comes to defense, you know? Who else can I say? You know, man, I mean, there's not that many leaders that I can really think of that really can't be the number one option. I mean, if you want to go as far as vocally, you can say Kyle Lowry. I know he was the vocal leader during that 2019 run, but my point is, right, you don't always have to be the leading scorer just to declare yourself the leader. I think that's something that Zach LaVine just doesn't understand, man. I mean, I wish he would get the message by now. I mean, look, DeMar DeRozan, even though that he is averaging around the same points as you, doesn't mean you have to match that or, you know, outscore him. You know, I mean, look, I get that you've been here longer than DeMar DeRozan and this, that, and the other. I get that. But sometimes you just got to take a step back, man. If you really want to help us win a championship, then help us by being a vocal leader or, you know, a strategic leader, you know, strategize, be a floor general or a strategizer on the court rather than just beef with DeMar DeRozan and stop complaining all the time, man. You know, you're not gonna win shit if you're just gonna complain. You know, James Harden did that same bullshit when he was in Houston. You know. Now, yes, LeBron has done some complaining as well, but the difference between LeBron is that, you know, he constructed a fucking super team, man. So of course, yeah, he complains, but he really can't complain when he has a goddamn super team around him. I mean, when KD had his super team, and I'm talking about Golden State's super team, he really wasn't complaining. And I think he was complaining in Brooklyn, but that whole Brooklyn big three was a mess. But, you know, you got to show it sometimes, man. As far as DeMar DeRozan goes, you know, I really can't fault him. He's just, at this point, he's really just doing his job. I mean, he's like, what, 34 years old now? I mean, I think at this point, DeMar is just really trying to just do whatever he can to just get this team wherever it needs to be, right? Which I appreciate that. And you know, the hard thing about me is that these are two of my favorite players to watch, right? Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are two of my favorite players to watch in the NBA, and the fact that they're on one of my favorite teams in the NBA, I appreciate that. But I've came to realization that, you know, if something's not working, you just got to cut your losses, man, you know? You still got value in DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. So, you know, as much as I don't want to say it, but maybe it is time for them to maybe not blow it up, but retool. Maybe, you know? Maybe if rebuilding, I mean, I get that the fans and the front office are tired of rebuilding. But if you don't want to rebuild, at least try to retool and see what you can make out of it, you know? DeMar DeRozan can get traded to a contending team, I guess, like, you know, maybe somewhere like to the West, the Pelicans, or If the Lakers still want him, we're not trading for. We don't want AD. We don't want, and we damn sure don't want that. Well, I don't want to say it. No, I don't want to say it. Let's just say the Goblin Serum, the Goblin Serum King, LeBron James. If you guys get what I'm trying to say, then you know. But yeah, if it has to be to the Lakers, then so be it, man. I mean, we at this point the Bulls just need to just get some young guys and and some young stars to help this team win. I mean, shit. Let's just throw some shit on the wall and hope it sticks. Let's throw some shit at OKC and hopefully give us Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or fuck it. Let's give up Zach LaVine and Aaron Dosunmu, maybe Alex Caruso to somewhere like I don't know, fucking shit. Fuck it. Why not? Let's get I don't know, man. My brain is just scrambling on who we can trade for, man. At this point, let's just throw some shit on the wall and hopefully it sticks, man. Let's go after fucking Donovan Mitchell. Hey, Zach LaVine for Donovan Mitchell. Let's do a star swap, or DeMar DeRozan for Brandon Ingram, or if the Pelicans organization is all fed up, let's trade him for Zion, or maybe Jimmy Butler can. Well, maybe not Jimmy Butler. Maybe someone like I don't know. Fuck it, Jason Tatum. I damn sure know that the Celtics can't re-sign Jason Tatum that big ass contract unless they're gonna let go of everybody else. So hey, if everything else fails, let's go after Jason Tatum. I don't know, guys. I mean, my brain is just scrambling at what we can do to retool, but I don't know. I'm just I don't know what to say about this team, man. I mean, honestly, I would just say let's just go through this season. Bulls fans, we already know this is going to be another long season for us, where we can hopefully get a playoff seed and cross our fingers and hope all the stars align, and if the basketball gods can just give us that one deep playoff run that we all have been just praying for, man, that hopefully we can get it. We just know this is going to be a long season for Bulls fans. But I know that this is just going to be one of those seasons where the Bulls are just going to coast through the East once again and just have to pray for the best that they don't have to run into the Bucks or the Celtics, maybe the 76ers or the Cavs, and just hope that everything else just falls into line, man. I mean, is there anything else I got to say? Oh, yeah. Get rid of Billy Donovan. I've been saying this since, I want to say even, who was our last coach? Oh my God, I hate that coach, man. What's his name? I mean, he was better than Billy Donovan. I mean, no, he's not. Billy Donovan's better than him, but I will say, even he's just as bad. Man, what's his name? Like Joe, fuck. It'll come to me, man. But what I'm trying to say is that, get rid of Billy Donovan, right? Jim Boylan, that's his fucking name. Oh, man. I can't stand Jim Boylan. But I get that Billy Donovan is a far better coach than Jim Boylan. But shit, man. I mean, the Bulls just gotta look. The Chicago Bulls is one of the most storied franchises in NBA history, right? Right behind the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Spurs. We're right there with like the Spurs and the Warriors, right? Where we're one of the most. We're like two. We're like tier two as far as the most storied franchises in NBA history. We need to get back to winning culture, right? Billy Donovan is not that guy. Bro, I kid you not. Let's just go after who's the coach that the Bucks just got rid of? Damian Lillard's old coach. What's his name? Tim Scott or Jim Scott? Whatever, something Scott. I don't know. Scott Pilgrim. I don't know. Whatever the fuck his name is. Let's get him or get Mark Jackson. He just got let go from the ESPN. Let's grab him. Well, we're definitely not going to get Doc Rivers. But shit, let's get Kenny Atkinson. He's one of the few coaches that is able to get a young team that is trying to direct themselves to a path to winning an NBA championship. Most notably with the Brooklyn Nets. Let's get someone like him, you know? I mean, look, the Bulls, we can do something to retool this team. I think the Bulls are just not doing what they're supposed to do. We need to get rid of Billy Donovan and whoever the fuck is in that front office. We got to cut losses with them too. Excuse me. I might have to cut that part out. Maybe not. I don't know. Look, man, we got to get rid of everybody. You know what I'm saying? This team, or not this team, but this whole organization is just not doing its job as far as bringing the Bulls back to its winning culture. We haven't done shit since the Derrick Rose era. Or, I'm sorry, scratch that. We haven't done shit since, you can, as far as to go say the Jordan era. You know, we had a little playoff thing with Derrick Rose, with the Derrick Rose era. And we even done something with the brief Jimmy Butler era that we've had when, it was him and I think it was him, D Wade and Rondo, the brief Jimmy Butler era, for all the Bulls fans that remember that. I mean, shit, we just got to do something where we got to compete, man, and just fight, We can't just keep tanking and hope something just falls into our lap like a Christmas present on a little kid's lap. You know what I mean? We can't just do that shit, man. We got to have something. We got to have a constructive game plan, a road, what are those things that video games call it now? Roadmaps. We got to just have a roadmap, a constructive roadmap, where we just have to get back to our winning ways. Cut losses with Billy Donovan, get a good coach, or an assistant coach that is capable of, coaching a good team like the Chicago Bulls. Get rid of that fucking front office who, I don't know whoever the fuck's in that front office, but we got to cut losses with them, and honestly, we can keep Vooch. Vooch is a good asset. We can keep him. But as far as DeMar and Zach LaVine, if they keep on having beef with each other, which I won't be surprised if they will, we got to cut losses with them too, man. And Zach LaVine more so because he's, to be honest with you guys, I don't even know if he's even if we do get rid of DeMar DeRozan, right, and we somehow get a young star, if we somehow trade DeMar DeRozan to the Philadelphia 76ers and get Tyrese Maxey in return or something, right? Some young star or some young player that's gonna be a star and that's gonna be on the rise of being a superstar. You know, if we do have that, I just think that Zach LaVine is just. I don't want to. Maybe he really just isn't that guy, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe it's just time for him to see the writing on the wall and know that he's just a second option at best, you know? I mean, unless something changes, I really don't see him being a first option, you know? Or maybe just bring in someone like, well, maybe not Brandon Ingram. I keep on bringing Brandon Ingram into these trades. I'm sorry, man. He's one of my favorite players, but I mean, I don't know, man. We just got to do something to make this team back to its winning ways. You know what I mean? It's just a mess, man. Bulls fans have been suffering for over going on to almost 30 years now. I mean, shit, like something's got to change, man. But either way, this has been a long ass video. Yeah, I'm out. For all my Bulls fans, tell me what you guys think.